welcome to your Monday edition of Wasatch Weekends. We love getting to be here every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to bring you some great information, maybe give you a few tips and tricks that you can use throughout the week, or maybe give you some great resources. And also, we always love to help you cook some new recipes. Today is National Hummus Day, and Kim is going to teach us how to make some delicious hummus at home. We're also going to talk about the great program, Talk Away the Dark, because May is National Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's really important that you take care of your mental health. So we're going to give you some great resources to do just that. I'm your in-studio host today, Maddie Evans, and the show starts now. It is International Hummus Day, and hummus is yummus. So we're going to step into the kitchen with Kim, who's going to show us how to make some at home. Let's take a look.
Like I said, Gretchen and I are in the kitchen. We are hanging out. It is a girls' morning on this Monday morning edition of Good Morning Vale. But speaking of, there are lots of things that we like to call girl dinner and snacks and all of the fun stuff.
Girl snack.
It is. So we are in the kitchen and we are making hummus, which is, this is, in my opinion, better than store-bought. 100%.
And I'll be honest with you, so I was vegetarian for 10 years, and hummus is one of my go-tos still to date. Like, I love hummus, so I'm really stoked, and I thought it was a lot harder than it is. So
it's great. So we've got all kinds of things to snack with it, but we'll talk about that in a second. But what the trick to hummus is the layering and how you put the ingredients in, and that makes it lighter and more fluffy and all of that.
Because you don't want it heavy or runny. Or
you don't, and it can be very thick. So you actually start with your tahini and lemon juice. Okay. So that's the basis. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1/4 of a cup of tahini. So we've got a measuring cup and we're going to put about 1/4 of the cup of the tahini in there, and then also the lemon juice. So we can just dump the lemon juice into our blender right here. Smells delicious.
Yeah,
so this
it really
is
does.
Freshly squeezed. It's about a half a lemon, and it's okay that the seeds are in there because it's going to be blended up.
Okay.
And then we're putting 1/4 of a cup of the tahini. Now, the trick with the tahini, you want to make sure that it's well stirred, which you were doing it before the commercial break.
Yes.
We are crushing it.
Well, and you're right, because it was kind of layered. The liquid was on the top, so, and it's a better consistency, you know?
Tahini is, it's great. That's what gives it a little bit of that sesame flavor.
I love the smell, too. Is that weird? I love how it smells.
No, it's great. So we're going to just go ahead and add a little bit in here. I'd say we're just going to scoop it straight in, right? Just like that. We're going to put 1 more spoonful in. So that's about 1/4. And now, Gretchen, what you can do for me is we've got the garlic cloves.
Yep.
That's also a really good one. So that's about 1/4 of a cup of tahini.
Ooh,
right?
That's intense for this morning.
It is. It's a great
that
way.
woke me up.
Great way to get started here. So we've got the tahini in here. We're going to hang on to the garlic first.
And now, Kim, is this, how many garlic cloves is this?
That is 1. So you're just going to dice it up and get this. This is always the fun part. I love putting the lid on this. So the trick to this is blending this for an amount of time. So we're going to blend it for about 45 seconds here. So all you have to do is start, let it go.
Perfect.
It's just going to blend it and whip it and cream the tahini and the lemon juice.
But it's important to do this before we put it. Okay.
Yep. So we're letting it blend. Right now we're about 20 seconds or so.
I love it.
So keep it going.
I'm just shocked how easy this is. I truly thought that making hummus would be very hard.
It's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not.
But that
So-
teaches you, you just have to read and do it.
Yep. So it looks good there. We're just gonna scrape it down a little bit more. Yep. You can smell. Can you smell the
Oh,
nuttiness
yeah.
of the sesame?
I love it.
Right. All right.
I can smell the garlic. Woo.
We're getting ready to throw all of that in here too. So we've got what you can also do for me.
Yes.
2 tablespoons
Okay.
of the olive oil.
Perfect.
Yep. So we're gonna put 2 of those into here. And
Does it matter what kind of olive oil we use?
It really
for this?
doesn't.
Okay.
I like to do organic olive oil.
Perfect.
I love. There we go. Go ahead and throw that in there. I love to do California olive oil. That's a favorite one of mine.
Okay, but it truly doesn't matter. It's kind
true.
of up to your
Perfect. We'll throw in the garlic next.
discretion.
Discretion.
All right, the garlic. Woo, that is
Yeah.
intense.
It is strong. We can smell it, but I tell you what, it's going to make this quite delicious. And then we're going to add a little bit of cumin.
Okay.
Which we've got here. So with that cumin, you're going to do about a half a teaspoon.
Okay.
So, yep. Super easy on these measurements. We'll do a half a teaspoon there. No pressure.
I know, I got it. I got you.
You're crushing it.
I know, for the woman
And
that
you can
does not
honestly just
cook.
kind of-
Okay.
Yes, sparkle.
Look like this.
Look at you. You're doing a
I'm
great job,
learning.
Bridget.
I'm learning. Thank you.
I'm telling you, like
Maybe
this
a
is
little bit more.
a great party trick to bring.
Yes.
Either to have it at home because now you know all the ingredients that you're putting in.
I'll be honest,
That
I would
looks
feel
great.
so good coming in and being like, oh, I have my own hummus that I made.
Oh, and then the best part is like this is a great base layer, so then you can add your own flavors
Right,
to it.
yes.
So we're gonna blend it again, and you just kind of keep blending and layering.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Easy enough.
we're letting it go. You're
I love that I'm genuinely excited because listen, when I see my friends and family and I'm like, oh, I made my own hummus, they're gonna be like, the girl has finally gotten it together. She has made it in life.
She has made it
She
in
can
life.
do her own hummus.
Right. Okay. Great. We're gonna put a little bit of salt. So I like to use on this salt. It's got 3 different options to pour it.
Right.
I like to use the big 3 circles of it.
Okay.
So we'll just add some salt in there.
Should I do it?
I'll just tell you when.
Okay.
All right. So that's perfect.
Oh.
Great. No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
You said the big option. I went with the
You
big
went with
option.
the big option, and that's okay because we can always add more to it.
I love-
Totally fine. You're right.
We like it salty here at Good Morning Bill, if you haven't noticed.
It's true. So now we've got our chickpeas, and that
Right.
is obviously the base of hummus. So what I did with the chickpeas is we opened the can, and then we drained the liquid out of it. And the liquid is called aquafaba.
Cool.
Because we are going to still use some of it back into the
Interesting.
hummus.
So it
Yeah.
gives more of the flavor,
Yeah,
and this is the consistency.
Exactly. So we're going to put just half the can
Okay.
into the blender now. So just go ahead and pour a little bit of a half in there. A little over, it's fine.
That's
But
good.
we do that so that it just blends equally
Okay.
and evenly. We're going to blend it now.
Oh, it looks really good.
Looking
And
great.
it smells really good. Yeah, I like it.
All right.
I'm impressed.
And now we're going to add, we can add the rest of it in there, and then we'll add 1 more tablespoon of olive oil into the mix.
Okay, so
So
add.
rest of the chickpeas. We can
Perfect.
throw that in there. Looking great, awesome.
Perfect.
And then we'll put half a tablespoon of olive oil,
All right.
and then we're just gonna blend it. And so we'll just sit here and smile and talk because kitchen noises are loud. You're doing such a good
Oh,
job.
cooking. I love it.
Looks great to me.
All right.
Little
It does look really good.
Okay. Now this is the fun part. So we've got 30 seconds of straight blending. Here we go.
We use our outside voices for
Outside voice.
very loud.
It's looking great.
I wish you could smell it at home. It smells so good. It really does. You're making me hungry. I've had hummus many a day for breakfast. I love how it tastes. It's interesting. My family does not think it's good, but I love it.
I love hummus too. So if you look at it, you can kind of see the consistency. Like there are still some pieces of the chickpea in here, and that's okay.
Right.
It really doesn't matter. And this is the fun part where we're going to add the aquafaba into it.
Oh,
So
awesome.
What you can do is
Okay.
take the tablespoon and you just dip it in there, and we're going to do 2 to 3 tablespoons of it. Or you can use cold water.
Okay.
So not warm water. You want to make sure that it's cold.
And Kim, I was going to ask you, is sometimes hummus is just very smooth, but
Mm-hmm.
I have had really good hummus that has the chickpeas kind of sticking out of
Yeah.
it. Is that just whatever you like?
It's really whatever preference that you want
Okay.
to. So we've got 3 tablespoons of the aquafaba in there. Looking great. And honestly, we're just going to blend it, and then we get
Blend
to try
away.
it.
I love
blend,
this.
Try,
Blend and
taste
try.
it. Looking great.
I cannot believe how easy this is. I know I've said that 8 times, but really you would think it would be a huge process,
Yeah.
and it's not.
Yeah, looking great. And you can kind of just see right in there. The hummus is looking awesome.
It
I'm
really
going to
is
say,
looking
I
good.
think I love the consistency of this.
Are we
We've
just
got-
going to dip it in?
We're just going to dip those veggies in there. I love to serve it with fresh veggies. I don't know,
Yes.
what's your favorite?
I love veggies and pita bread.
Pita bread,
Too,
yeah.
but these crackers are amazing
Mary's
as well.
Gone crackers are,
Yes.
my favorite cracker.
But I do love nothing better than a carrot stick. What would you like?
I'm going with the carrot stick.
Okay, let's do
They're
it.
right here in front of me. So it's, yeah, you can just you can smell the nuttiness of the sesame. You can smell the garlic, the fresh garlic.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
There you go.
You can also just smell like all of the aroma. It's quite
Oh my gosh,
delicious.
it is really good. I'm not even just saying that. It's
great.
really good. Wow. Oh.
As we sit here and chew on our carrots.
I know.
Hummus is a great, easy way to entertain your guests and to wow them. So
I am going to wow everyone by making my own hummus. This is awesome.
can't wait to share this with friends and family over the next weekend or
And
so.
can I have one question for you?
Sure.
So you know how there's all the different types of hummus, like the roasted
Red
pepper,
pepper.
red pepper, and different. Do you just add that in?
Literally just add it in and blend it up and make sure that it's a consistency that you want.
Wow.
So,
Oh,
so easy
I'm
to add
excited.
whatever flavors that you want to into your hummus. But that being said, we're going to snack on veggies and hummus over the commercial break, and we'll be back with more after this.
I was very fortunate enough to sit down and chat with Vic Armstrong, who is one of the major components of the program Talk Away the Dark. Now, this is a great suicide prevention and awareness program, so he's going to give us some great information on some resources and maybe some tips and tricks on how you can start these heavy conversations. Let's hear what he has to say. Welcome back to the show. It's really important that we talk about how May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and a great way to do that is to talk away the dark. And I'm joined by Vic Armstrong, who's going to give us some more information. Good morning, Vic.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, you've got a very large job title, so can you give us just a little look into what that is?
Yeah, well, let me start by tell you a little bit about the organization, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Our mission is to save lives and bring hope to those impacted by suicide. We are the nation's largest suicide prevention organization and the world's largest private funder of suicide research. We have chapters in all 50 states, plus Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. So we have chapters that your listeners can connect with. But my role at FSP, I am Vice President of Health Equity and Engagement. And what that involves is providing equity and clinical expertise across our policy, across our programs, and across our communications. So a lot of what I focus on is how we create space to have conversations in communities that we may not have had conversations with in the past, and realizing that oftentimes the conversation around suicide prevention and awareness and mental health in general, oftentimes these look different for different communities because different communities have been socialized differently around how suicide impacts them. And so a lot of my role is helping us think through how do we connect differently with communities so they see themselves in the work that we do.
Now, something that's really important as we're talking about mental health is how you can recognize that someone might be struggling and how you can talk to them about their mental health. So can you give us some more tips and tricks on how people could maybe speak to their loved ones about their mental health?
Yeah, so first of all, we do recognize it's a very difficult conversation for people to have. It's often a conversation people are uncomfortable with. And oftentimes people who are struggling with their mental health or who are having thoughts of suicide, they will oftentimes reach out for help in ways that may make sense to them, but we don't always recognize them. So we try to teach people how to recognize the risks and the warning signs that someone may be struggling with their mental health. And those risks and warning signs often come in the form of changes in talk, change in mood, change in behavior. So change in talk may look like someone actually saying that I'm thinking about killing myself, and always take talk of suicide seriously. It may be someone just simply saying, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm just tired. You want to lean into those conversations and really inquire about what that means. You may see change in mood. Change in mood may be someone who has traditionally been more downbeaten or someone who is more low key, now all of a sudden they're more upbeat, more elated. Maybe they've decided that my troubles are over because I don't want to be here. I won't be here tomorrow. Or you may see changes in behavior. Those may be things like someone engaging in more risk-taking behavior. It may be someone increasing their use of drugs or alcohol. So you want to be aware of all of those changes in behavior. And if you see those changes, we encourage people to ask directly if you think that someone may be thinking about suicide. We know there's often stigma attached to that, in that people are afraid that if I ask the question, I'm going to put the thought in their heads. Research says the opposite is true. You don't make someone suicidal by asking them, but you may open up the space for that person to be able to talk about what's going on with them, and that may be healing for them. If you're looking for resources on how to have those conversations, we do have resources on our website. You can go to afsp.org /Talk Away the Dark. Our Talk Away the Dark campaign, it really is a guide that illustrates, it's a depiction of how you have conversation with someone who may be experiencing suicidal thoughts, but they're not openly talking about it. You see an illustration of someone having a caring conversation and then connecting that person with help. We also have on in that same space our Real Convo guides. And our Real Convo guide gives you a guide for how to engage in that conversation, how to have the conversation with the individual, and then how to connect them with help. And our new Real Convo guide even gives you tips on how to talk to someone if they may be hesitant about seeking help. If someone says to you, I don't want to go into therapy. I've been in therapy before, it didn't work. Or I don't want to take medication. Or I don't want to end up going in the hospital. Our new Real Convo guide gives you step-by-step instruction on how to talk to that person. In all of these instances, we encourage you to talk with them privately, to listen to their story carefully, give them an opportunity to talk about what's going on with them, to let them know that they're being heard, that you validate their feelings. Don't debate with them about what they're feeling, but listen, have open, honest conversation. If you feel that they are experiencing suicidal thoughts, ask them directly and then point them to help.
Now, how common is suicide in the U.S.? Only because it is something we're talking about. You cover all 50 states. And so how often does it happen?
So we saw an increase from 2021 to 2022 of about 3%. So we're at about 50,000 suicides in 2022. And while even one death by suicide is way too many, I think the thing for me that is a little bit comforting is that we understand, even though we've seen this increase in suicide, we understand today much better than we did even 5 years ago about how to reach into communities and to reach people before they reach that point of suicidality. We're getting in, we have more research on upstream suicide prevention and awareness, and we have more information now on how to engage communities. And we created more resources that allow us to engage communities and engage people where they live, work, play, and worship. And that gives us encouragement that we are prepared to deal with these changes and to provide resources for people who are hurting.
Now, you gave us all the great information that people can expect to see on your website. If someone in your family, someone that you love so dearly is struggling, how can you encourage them in a great way and a kind, empathetic way to start seeking help?
Well, the first thing is, if you suspect that they are thinking about suicide, ask them directly. Let them know that you're asking them because you care about them. Validate their feelings. You may not understand what they're going through, but because you don't understand their pain does not mean that their pain isn't real. Let them know that they matter, that their life matters, that their pain matters, and that you want to connect them with resources because you value them and because you care about them. And then if that person's hesitant, you can also offer to make the call with them. If you need to call emergency services, I encourage people, if you're able to stay with that person until the emergency services arrive. Let them know that they are not alone. People who are experiencing suicidal thoughts oftentimes have lost hope, they've lost social connection. And by you being there with them, letting them know that you value them, that you care about them, that you love them, you may be that conduit that offers them that hope and that social connection that just may save their lives.
Which is such an important role for people to take. Now, one more time, what's the website if people would like to find more information?
So you can find information on Talk Away the Dark in our Real Convo Guide at afsp.org/talkawaythedark. You can find resources for your local community at afsp.org. If you want to find out how to join a walk in your community, if you want to find out how you can find supportive resources in your community, if you want to connect with your local chapter, we have local chapters that stand ready and willing to engage with communities to provide trainings, to provide support. You can find all of that on our website at afsp.org.
Vic, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, giving us all this great information, and thank you for the hard work you do, not only in our local communities, but in communities across the U.S. We're really grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Make sure that if you or someone you know is struggling with your mental health, that you use these great resources that Talk Away the Dark has to offer, only because you could help save a life. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning into your Monday edition of Wasatch Weekends. We love getting to be here all weekend long to bring you some great information. Now, hummus is yummus, so don't forget to try that recipe at home. Make sure that you tune in on Friday. We'll be here for another great episode of Wasatch Weekends. I've been your host, Maddie Evans, and we'll see you soon.